Innovation that excites. That was once the slogan that appeared as a proud declaration from Nissan, a brand that firmly believed technology, Japanese engineering, and global scale would allow it to stand toe-to-toe with Toyota, Honda, and Volkswagen. But by 2025, the biggest innovation from Nissan turns out to be cutting 20,000 global workers, closing 7 factories, and absorbing a staggering net loss of 670.9 billion yen, equivalent to roughly $4.5 billion. An automaker that once created the Datsun Bluebird, the Z car, the legendary GTR, the Maxima Pathfinder Frontier, and the Nissan Leaf is now forced to shutter 7 production plants just to survive. Why did an automotive empire fall so low that it had to sacrifice its own workforce, factories, and some of its most deeply rooted icons? And if you currently own a Nissan, watch this video to the end and check your warranty status immediately. 2. The glorious past. Before having to shutter factories and slash tens of thousands of jobs, Nissan was a true economic machine. In 2017, Nissan recorded revenues of 11.95 trillion yen, an operating profit of 574.8 billion yen, and a net profit of 746.9 billion yen. This was not the image of a dying automaker, but of a global conglomerate in its golden age. The Altima Rogue, Pathfinder Frontier, and Leaf once helped Nissan achieve massive density on American streets. But that foundation did not appear out of thin air. In the late 1990s, Nissan was on the brink of bankruptcy before Renault bought a 36.8% stake and brought in Carlos Ghosn to surgically reconstruct the entire company. The plan at that time involved closing factories and cutting 21,000 jobs. But the bitter irony is that in 2025 to 2026, Nissan is forced to swallow the same medicine, cutting people, cutting factories, cutting its foundation. And this time the blade has fallen directly on Oppama, the very symbol of Nissan. The Oppama plant opened in 1961 in Yokosuka, Kanagawa. This was one of Japan's first large-scale automotive manufacturing plants, a towering symbol of Nissan's post-war global ambitions. Oppama was intimately tied to the Bluebird and later the Nissan Leaf, the first mass-market electric vehicle that Nissan used to declare they could lead the future. But by 2025, this iconic factory will be the first to be suffocated. Nissan confirmed it will cease vehicle production at Oppama by March 2028 and shift operations to Kyushu. This drastic move is part of the Nissan recovery plan to slash global production capacity from 3.5 million down to 2.5 million vehicles and reduce its number of manufacturing plants from 17 down to 10. Oppama isn't just being closed. It is absolute proof that Nissan has gone from a money-printing machine to a conglomerate forced to sacrifice its own past just to buy a little more time to survive. 3. Strategic failure, the blind bet on volume. So why did Nissan have to sacrifice Oppama with its own hand? The answer does not lie in a single year of losses. It lies in a flawed strategy that lasted far too long. For years, Nissan believed that the strength of an automaker lay in production volume. Sell as many cars as possible, open as many markets as possible, keep as many factories as possible, and try to stand on the same level as Toyota and Volkswagen through sheer massive scale. But in the automotive industry, volume does not automatically translate to sustainability. Volume only matters when each vehicle still generates real profit. If you have to deeply discount to push cars off the dealership lot, that is not a strength. If you have to sell huge batches to rental car companies, that is not customer loyalty. If cars depreciate rapidly on the used market, that is not a healthy brand. If buyers choose Nissan because it is cheap rather than because they trust it, then that is no longer growth. That is borrowing future sales. Reuters noted that Nissan was dragged down by a strategy heavily focused on volume, using discounts to maintain market share, while its product lineup grew increasingly outdated. This is the fatal flaw. Nissan did not collapse because it couldn't sell cars for a day. Nissan collapsed because it sold cars in a way that cannibalized itself. Every time it offered deep discounts, the company secured an immediate customer, but it weakened the brand value behind the scenes. Every time it pushed vehicles into the market with incentives, the company added a number to its report. But it conditioned buyers to understand that they should only buy a Nissan when it's cheap. That is why high sales volume could no longer save Nissan. It only masked the cracks for a time. When the market slowed down, that crack turned into a sinkhole. Reuters reported that Nissan's global sales have plummeted by 42% since 2017. The AP also noted that in the fiscal year ending March 2026, Nissan only sold 3.15 million vehicles globally. Revenue dropped by 5%, and it still posted a net loss of 533 billion yen. This is the deadly trap of production volume. When cars are selling fast, a factory is powerful. But when demand vanishes, a factory turns into a blood-sucking block of concrete. Bills still have to be paid, workers still have to be paid, assembly lines still have to run, dealerships still have to receive cars, all while customers no longer view Nissan as the most reliable choice. That is why Nissan has to slash its global production capacity from 3.5 million down to 2.5 million vehicles and reduce its number of factories from 17 down to 10. Under the Nissan plan, Nissan once thought factories were power, but when volume no longer yields profit, factories are just massive fixed burdens. And Oppama is the most painful price to pay for that blind bet. 4. Quality crisis, the VC, turbo engine becomes a warranty time bomb. But if you think Nissan only weakened because it sold cheap cars for too long, that is still not enough. No customer turns their back on you just because the fish today is more expensive than yesterday. They only walk away when you sell them a rotten fish from yesterday. For Nissan, the largest fracture doesn't just sit on the balance sheet, it lies right under the hood. In 2016, Infiniti proudly unveiled the VC Turbo as the world's first production variable compression ratio engine, promising the raw power of a high-performance engine alongside better fuel economy. It sounded beautiful. An engine that knows how to automatically alter its own compression ratio. When power is needed, it lowers the compression ratio. When efficiency is needed, it raises the compression ratio. In advertisements, it was a mechanical genius. But in real life, the more moving parts there are, the more single points of failure you introduce. And by 2025 to 2026, that breakthrough began showing up in flashing red letters across NHTSA reports. According to Part 573, Safety Recall Report 26V080, Nissan recalled 323,917 rogue vehicles from model years 2023 to 2025, equipped with a 1.5-liter KR 15D DTVC turbo engine because elevated oil temperatures could cause lubrication degradation, leading to seized bearings, engine damage, and ultimately engine failure. This is not a minor glitch like a frozen infotainment screen, not a rattling piece of plastic in the cabin. This is the very heart of the vehicle. If the engine fails while driving, the NHTSA warns that the vehicle could suffer a loss of motive power and be unable to restart, increasing the risk of a crash. In rare cases, a failed bearing can breach the engine block, spraying hot oil and elevating the risk of a fire. That is the exact moment technology ceases to be a badge of pride. It transforms into a life-or-death question for the driver. And the mandated remedy further underscores the severity of the issue. The NHTSA stated that dealerships must reprogram the eSIM inspect for fault codes, perform a test drive, and check the oil pan for metallic shavings. If an engine replacement is necessary, the labor can take up to 15 hours. Translate that into the language of a car buyer. A Rogue is no longer just a fuel-efficient family crossover. It can transform into a prolonged warranty file, a dealership appointment, an oil test, an oil pan removal, and in the worst-case scenario, a total engine replacement. The problem doesn't stop at a single recall campaign either. Reuters reported that the NHTSA closed an investigation into 454,840 Nissan and Infiniti vehicles following a June 2025 recall over VC turbo engine failures. That investigation, which began in December 2023, compiled 1,878 incident reports, including 12 crashes or fires, forcing Nissan to extend the engine warranty to 10 years or 120,000 miles for affected vehicles. By February 2026, Reuters further recorded that Nissan had recalled a combined total of 642,698 rogue vehicles in the U.S. across two separate campaigns, 323,917 units due to engine bearings, and another 318,781 units due to an electronic throttle gear defect that could cause a loss of motive power. The New York Post also covered these massive recalls, encompassing over 640,000 rogues, proving that these are no longer isolated sporadic mechanical mishaps. To be precise on the legal front, one cannot conclusively state that Nissan intentionally concealed these defects unless a court formally rules so. However, Road and Track noted that a class action lawsuit has alleged Nissan was fully aware of the VC turbo flaws through internal testing. A barrage of consumer complaints and dealership repair reports yet failed to adequately warn or protect consumers. And this is the ultimate fatal blow. An automaker bleeding billions of dollars can absorb price cuts. It can survive heavy inventory backlogs. It can even weather a few slow-selling models. But when a corporation has to simultaneously shoulder massive recall expenses, extended warranties, manual metal and oil inspections, and the looming threat of replacing entire engines, the crisis is no longer confined to paper. 5. The price to pay. But behind each of these reduction numbers is not just a lifeless line on Excel, it is human beings. The AP recorded that Nissan is cutting about 20,000 jobs, equivalent to 15% of its global workforce, while reducing the number of factories from 17 down to 10. Nissan also confirmed in its Re-Nissan plan that the company will reduce its global production capacity from 3.5 million vehicles down to 2.5 million vehicles, meaning cutting 1 million vehicles of production capacity from its system. 1 million vehicles sounds like a technical number, but in real life, it is an assembly line stopping its run. It is a uniform being hung up for the last time. It is the workers who once lived by the sound of stamping machines, the sound of welding robots, the sound of cars leaving the assembly line, now having to ask one question: where do I go tomorrow? It is truly difficult to answer because Nissan is not just laying off workers. They are shutting down 7 entire factories on a global scale. In China, Nissan will terminate vehicle production at the Wuhan plant before March 31st, 2026. The same goes for the Sivak plant in Mexico. Compass, even Shonan in Japan, and plant number 11 in Thailand, have had decisions signed to halt operations in 2025. This is no longer normal restructuring. This is an industrial dismantling. 6. So what do you need to do with your Nissan? And this is the section dedicated specifically to those driving a Nissan. If you own a Nissan, will the company stop honoring warranties? If the factory closes, will your car be abandoned? If the VC turbo engine fails, who will pay? Do not panic, but also do not be complacent. Nissan has not announced mass cancellations of warranties for sold vehicles. According to the official Nissan USSA warranty page, new Nissan vehicles in the US still have a basic warranty of 3 years or 36,000 miles, along with a powertrain warranty of 5 years or 60,000 miles. In the 2025 warranty information booklet, Nissan also clearly states that the warranty begins on the date the vehicle is delivered to the first retail buyer or the date it is put into use, whichever comes first. Therefore, Nissan closing Oppama Sivak or reducing factories from 17 down to 10 does not automatically void your car's warranty. But the issue is not that simple. The warranty still exists on paper. The question is, when the company is cutting 20,000 jobs, reducing factories from 17 down to 10, reducing part complexity by 70%, and shrinking vehicle platforms from 13 down to 7, how fast will the customer support system be in the next few years? This is the point buyers must clearly understand. You do not lose your warranty rights just because Nissan is restructuring, but you could lose your benefits if you do not keep maintenance records. You can be denied if the car breaks down due to lack of maintenance, improper repair, structural modifications, accidents, or using the wrong materials. Nissan's warranty policy clearly states that damage due to failure to maintain improper maintenance, abuse, alteration, accident, or collision is not covered. Therefore, with Nissan during this period, do not just drive the car. Keep the evidence. Keep oil change receipts. Keep dealership repair orders. Keep photos of the mileage. Keep value and inspection results, because paperwork is the barrier protecting you when the engine, transmission, or electrical system begins to have problems. Specifically for safety recalls, your rights are stronger than a standard warranty. The NHTSA explicitly states that if a vehicle has an open recall, the owner must take it in for repair immediately, and recall repairs are performed free of charge. The NHTSA also recommends owners check for recalls at least twice a year because there are hundreds of new or updated recalls every year. This is very important. Even if the car is out of the 3-year or 36,000-mile warranty, even if the car has passed to a second owner, even if you bought the car used, if the VIN is under an unresolved safety recall, it must still be repaired under the recall program. But with the VC Turbo, viewers need to look closer. The 2023 to 2025 Nissan Rogue using the 1.5-liter K15D DTVC turbo engine is under recall. 26V080 affecting 323,917 vehicles. The NHTSA report clearly states this defect is related to elevated oil temperatures, lubrication, degradation, seized bearings, engine damage, loss of motive power, and in rare cases can puncture the engine block, causing hot oil to spray out and increasing the risk of a fire. The 2024 to 2025 Nissan Rogue also has a recall. 26V081 affecting 318,781 vehicles because a gear inside the electronic throttle body could break, causing the car to lose motive power and increasing the risk of a crash. For the broader VC Turbo Group, Reuters reported that the NHTSA has closed an investigation related to 454,840 Nissan and Infiniti vehicles following the 2025 recall. The investigation recorded 1,878 incident reports, including 12 cases resulting in accidents or fires, and Nissan extended the warranty for affected vehicles to 10 years or 120,000 miles. This is the most important right that VC Turbo owners must hold on to. If your car is a Rogue Altima, Infiniti QX50, or QX55 using a VC Turbo, do not just ask the dealer, "Is my car?" Okay, ask the exact right questions. Is my car part of any open recall? Is my car covered by the extended 10-year or 120,000-mile warranty? Has the dealer checked for metal shavings in the oil? If there are no metal shavings, have they changed the oil, replaced the oil pan gasket, and reprogrammed the ECM? If there are metal shavings, are they creating a record to replace or repair the engine? Do not let them answer just by word of mouth. Request a repair order immediately. 7. Conclusion. Nissan is not bankrupt yet, but the Nissan of the old era has ended. If you own a Rogue Altima, Pathfinder Frontier, or an Infiniti using a VC Turbo, check your VIN warranty and recalls immediately. Leave your car's model, year, and mileage down in the comments section. If you found this information helpful, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to receive more interesting automotive insights.